Hello everyone, welcome back to the world of web development. This video is brought to you by IDUTech and my name is Oluwadamilare Idowu Joshua. Today, we'll be looking at the following contents: HTML multimedia, HTML over image or cycle image, HTML background image, and HTML table. Now, under HTML media, we'll be looking at how to add images, videos, and audio to our HTML documents. Now, I'll head straight over to my VS Code. So this is my VS Code, and what you have to do here is you have to create a new. You can create a new text file, right? But this is what I'm going to do. I'll click create a new text file, and I'll select the language to be HTML. HTML, and I'll go to File, Save As. So what I want to do is I want to save all what I'll be working on today on a folder in my desktop. So this is my desktop. So I'll create a new folder around here. So if you are using a Windows computer, you can right click, to create a new folder, or you can look for the icon to create new folder. So I'll create maybe HTML media. And in this folder, I'm going to save this document. I can name it maybe index.html, or I can name it HTML media website, whichever name I want to use. Okay, just so that I confirm this is still recording. Okay. So first thing I'll do is I'll hold the shift key, and 1. Now when you hold the shift key on your keyboard and 1, and it brings this option for you, and you press the enter key. So this gives you this automatic template, that you can work with. Now for this lesson, I'm not going to be going into details with all this. This simply is telling you about the language that we're using, English language here. So you can just leave that. But I've definitely spoken about the basic HTML tags in our previous class. So the title, I can name it HTML media. Now, if you don't get the shortcut I used, you can just type it manually. It's still the same thing. But the shortcut is Shift 1, and you press your enter key. So for those of you using mobile device, you can just type it straight ahead. Now these are some of the benefits of using a laptop, but still typing it or using shortcuts still means the same thing. So now the first thing I'm going to create is an image, right? So we use the image tag to do that. And this is my image tag. So we're doing something like this. Let me quickly close this. So let me just open a blank tab. And the image I want to use, I have to look for the image. These are the files I want to use. I want to use this image, so I'll move it to my folder. So the folder I created is HTML media, so I have to look for that folder. HTML media, there is it. I move it here. I also want to use this picture too. I also want to use this music file. I also want to use this video file, and maybe this too. Maybe this. But basically, you can see I copied the document I want to use inside here, the video, the picture, and this is my, the file I'm currently working on. If I open it with VS Code, you can see. So what I'm going to do, I'll type src, which means source. So since the image is in the same folder as my HTML file, I can just copy the name, or better still, I can still come to VS Code here, go to File, and say Open Folder, right? And I can open this particular folder. You see, I go to my desktop, HTML media, and I click Open, and you will see it will load that folder with the document that are inside there. You can see the documents here. You can see my HTML code here, just like the way it was, because I'm using auto save, so this saves automatically. Now it's still loading. So this is the image I want to use, right? So I can um, I can just type that name here, my picture.png, and if I go here and I click on this, you can see this is my website now. The picture is showing, so I can specify the size or the width. I want the width to be maybe 200 px. So I have to refresh, and I want to put what we call alternate text. So this alternate text is a text that will show, which is when it shows when the picture is having an error, like it's not loading or is not available. Let's say I spelled this thing wrongly. Now this text, my pics will show, when the picture is not able to display. Not just for pictures, even for videos too. You can use the alternate. This is the alternate attribute, right? So for video, I'm going to add this tag here. This BRO means break tag. Now the image tag doesn't have a closing tag, so I'm going to use this to like break it, because I don't want it to be in the same line as the video. So for video, simply just use video tag, and we type video controls, and it has closing tag too. We specify the width. Now you can type 200 or 200 px, and SRC as always has to contain the location of the video or the name. So this is the video. So the name is quite long. So what I'm just going to do is VS Code can help predict what you want to type here, like the name, or you can rename the video to something shorter. So rename it to my video. My video. Thanks. When I come here, I can type my video .mp4, and when I refresh this, you can see the video is here. Hello guys, welcome to the world of web development. So you can change the size of the video if you want to. Right. You can also add an audio similar way. For the audio, you don't need to specify, the width, so you can add another break tag here. This audio, so we don't need this, not necessary. And this is the song, so like I said again, you can rename it to make it easier, or you just copy the name, call it maybe my music. It's MP3. So I come here, I type my music with MP3. So refresh, you can see it is here now. That is how you add like music, videos, images to your website. Now, another thing I want to look at is over image or cycle image and background image. So I'm going to create another HTML file from here. So once you open this folder, you can add a new file. Maybe you can name it over and background image.html. So once I do that, I can use that shortcut. Now if you check the material for this video, the PDF, there is no head there, and at this point we don't need to put the head, but if you are building a professional website, your head has to be there. you have to always put the head tag. So like before, an image, right? Um, yes, I will say the same. We can use the same image, my picture.png. So if you come here, you should see the file you just created. This one, that's the HTML document, and the size. No, you can specify the width. You don't need to specify the height. You know, sometimes when you specify the height, it can shrink the picture. If you are using a height and width that is different from its natural width and height. So you can see now this picture I'm using is a square picture, so it will give us a perfect uh, square. It will give us a perfect circle. If your picture is not a perfect square, it's going to give you something like an oval shape, like an egg shape. So make sure for this particular um, lesson you use a perfect picture, or if it's not perfect, you will see that the cycle will not be perfect. Now there is a way to correct that. I've also speak about how to do that, but not in this video. So so what I will do now is that we introduce the style attribute, and we say border radius 50%. And once you do that, you can see. So the border, we took like 50% of the border radius. And if I should make this maybe 20%, you see how it is, right? The border is having like some kind of curve. But when you make it 50%, you know, it now looks like a circle. So that is how you add it, make it you make an image circle or oval. Now to put background image, we use the background image property and type URL. Now this is the background image I want to use, this one. So you have to type the name here, web development. Right? Now this thing would always predict what you want to type. Now the reason why it is putting this whole backward slash is because there's a kind of spacing in the name. So I can just rename this to background image. Now for those of you using a phone, you have to import this before you can use them. Like you have to import the images or the videos, just the way I have to copy all this to the folder initially. So background image. So now you can see that the image is showing, but it is repeating. So for it not to repeat, we use another property we call, let me just press enter. That property is called background repeat. You can see it here. So we say no repeat, so that the image doesn't repeat. Now it is now looking smaller. So what we have to do is to say, for it to cover the whole page, we say background size cover. Once you do that, it covers the whole page now. So this is how you put your cycle image and your background image. Very, very important, when you're working on a website. So this is your background image and over image. You can see this is how you do your add your image, video, audio. And the last thing we want to look here is tables. Now from our lesson, you can see we talk about tables. Say table allow web developers to arrange data in rows and columns, right? So table essentially allows we programmers to be able to arrange our information in rows and columns. And we are going to create this table that we have here. So again, I will create another file and I'll name it table.html. I can do the same thing here, but I'm just creating a separate file so that we have something new to work with, something fresh to work with. So I use the shortcut Shift 1, enter, and like I said, we don't necessarily need all this. We can even remove the head tag for now, or remove this meta tag, type HTML table as a title. This is just telling us the language is English. Again, you can leave it like that. And if you can't use the shortcut, please type it manually. So you say table, so use the table tag to make the table. Now, after typing table, now the first row is the table. Type table TR, that's table role. So the first role we usually call it table head. Yeah. So that's TH and another TH here. And so here we have first name, and here we have age. Right? So if I refresh the website now I have to open it, so is it here? So we have something here, right? But it's not exactly like looking like a table yet. So we have first name, age. Now the next thing we can add here is another role. Now the first role we use TH, but for the other role we use TD, which means table data. Table data, table data. So I want 2 columns and 3 rows. So this is 1, 2, 3 row. So let's say just one, and we have maybe 5 here. We can also have another name, maybe Eve, and probably we have 1000. So if you look very well, there is a kind of spacing. There's a way I'm inserting this content is inside the TD or the TH. So for the heading is inside TH, but for other rows is inside TD. So you can see. So when you come here and refresh, now there's a way you can do this without having to refresh all the time. I would also do a separate video on that. Just make sure you subscribe to this video, like the video so that I can keep making more content. You can also share it with those that have interest in learning web development. And now we have this table, but our table does not have any form of line to even show that it's a table. So for that, we will use a tag which we call a style tag. And that style tag is inside the head. So now what we've been using mostly before is inline CSS, right? Now we're using what we call internal CSS. So in this internal CSS, we are going to call, this is the CSS tag for internal CSS. The one we've been using, like this one's, using this style attribute is inline. We have another one which is external. Now again, after this video, the next video lay more emphasis on that, but we have to call, the table. We call the table head, and we call the table date. And we're going to give them like a border, and we can make the border 1px solid black. So it should be 1 pixel thick, and the color should be solid black. The padding should be 5px, 30px, and 5px again, 20px. And we have the border collapse. Now let me just show you what this will look like first. Okay, but something is not right. Something is not right. We are not having any border here. But still, let me add the border collapse. Okay, yeah, this is supposed to be solid black, not solid block. So that's a big issue. So this is what we have, right? So for this is the border now, but the border is not collapsing. So for the border to collapse, we have to use border collapse. Okay. So now the border is joined together. Now the reason why we had this padding here is just basically for spacing the items. Now see the way they are clustered. So if you put padding, it's not necessarily you do it the exact way I did it before. You can do padding 30 px, for example, and this is what it will look like. You do 20. So this one affects both top, bottom, left, and right. And the first padding is usually if you make it two, two items here. Like let's say let me use 50 px and 20 px. You have 20 and 50, right? So let me give you the size of this. So you can see something here that the first item here is affecting the top. The second one is affecting the bottom. The top and the bottom. The first item. The second one is affecting the left and the right. So if I make this like 100, you see that the left and the right increases. So, but if I use like four, properties here, let me put it on 0px and let me use the last one. The first one will affect the top. This will affect the right. This will affect the bottom, and this will affect the left. So you see, the first one is the top 20px. The next one is the right. You see, it's smaller 10. The bottom is 0, no spacing, and the last one is the left 50, which is more. So there's a whole lot that comes to with padding. We also have another one that is margin. Now, if you want more explanation of that, just mention that in the comment section. I'm going to throw more light on that as well. So, but for now, I will just leave this as 20. So when you only have one value here, like this, it affects all of them. But when you have like 4, it affects each side. If you have 2, the first one will affect the top and bottom, while the next one will affect the left and the right. Now for today video, this is the task you have to do. At the end of today, you should be able to do something like this. So this is a table, this is a background image, this is a video, and this is a list. Now this image has to be cycle image, and you can see here that it is clearly at the center. So for now, you can use the center tag, or if you know how to make use of the align text center, you can also use that. So have a good day, and if you have any question, just let down at the comment section. Thank you.